Okay, so here we go. This says y is greater than 2. Okay, so we switched seats so that we wouldn't talk, and we're still talking. So stop talking. Y is greater than 2. That means it's going to pass through the y-axis. It's positive 2, so you go up 2. It only passes through the y-axis because there's only a y, and it's a dashed line because there's no line under it. Are we going to shade above or below?
Below.
Look at it.
Oh, above.
Above because it's greater than. All right. Did anybody graph that one right? Hey, look at us go. If we did not graph it right, what should we be doing? Correcting it. You did that one right. How about you do it? All right, this one, it's x. It passes through the x-axis. So you would go left 2. It's a vertical line, and it's dashed. No. To the left or to the right? The left, because it's less than. Good job. All right, then we had to write an example solution and not a solution. So an example solution would be Ronaldo Danubius. Would be where the colors overlap. So that could be here, 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 here. But it cannot be on the dashed lines because it's greater than 2 and less than negative 2. So it's not here. So one example solution would be negative 1, 2, 3, up 3. So negative 3, 3, or negative 4, 3, or negative 5, 3. That's a 3. Or negative 3, 4. Did anybody get at least one of those correct? Hey, good job. Take a point for your team. I'll be okay for today. Next time. Alright, so then not a solution would be where there's just one color or no colors. So 0, 0. Negative 3, 0. Or negative 1, 3. It could be any of those, right? Or it could be any of the other points out here. You don't have to just list those. It could be anything. Did anybody get that right? Good job. Give your team a point. Point strip person needs to be keeping up with the points. The one that says number strip. If your table doesn't have designated people, then assign someone to keep up with the points. All right. Are we ready? Does anybody have any questions on this one? Okay. I'll hold on. You did do your homework. Why did you tell me that you didn't do your homework? Are we ready for the next problem?
Yes.
Are we sure? Is anybody besides Sarah ready?
Yes.
I am.
There we go. Let's do this. After I write that he did do his homework for once. Just now. We just did that together, Tater Tot. I watched you. Alright, so for this one, how many of us did this one last night because we thought we had to do both? Take a point for your team. Alright, so this one is going to be, I only have those 2 colored pencils. I need to get all my colored pencils out. Alright, are we ready? You can see them. See? We're about to talk about that. Alright, so let's graph this first one together. What do we do to graph this? And what is the, no, we do y-intercept first, and what's our y-intercept?
-1.
So we go down 1.
Yes.
Always start with this number. Okay, and then what's my slope from here?
-1, 1.
So you go
Down 1, right 1.
over is not a direction.
Right 1.
Then down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1.
Then you go.
Yeah.
And then we connect our dots. Now, am I going to connect with a solid or a dashed line?
A solid because there's a line under it.
Yes, very good. Take a point. If you said solid, take a point. And am I going to shade above or below? Why is it below? Because it's less than. Take a point. It's eating the negative x minus 1, and it looks like your left hand, so it's less than. Shoo, 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 shoo. All right. So then let's look at this guy. What am I going to do first? I go up 3. And then, besides Sarah, who can tell me, and Reggie, who can tell me what my slope is? Paris. So what do I do? Take a point. We don't go over anywhere. Over is not a direction. We're not cows. We're not jumping over a moon. That's not how anything works. Is it going to be a solid or a dashed line? Solid. Give your team a point. He said solid. Give your team a point. And are we going to shade above or below? Why is it above? Because it looks like your right hand. And your right hand is greater than. Now, do our colors overlap? So what? No solution. Take a point. This wasn't a homework problem. No solution. No solution.
Now the parallel. What happened?
These are parallel. These are parallel lines because they have the same slope. So it's no solution because one was greater than and one was less than. Now, if both of them were less than, then it would shade this way, and this area would be your answer. If one was greater than, and if it was opposite, the one in the middle would be your answer. So it depends on the shading. The parallel has nothing to do with it. It depends on the shading. All right, let's look at the last part. Get super excited. And then we're going to pin in some cows. Yep, just wait. So, this says, write a system of inequalities for each graph. The procedure says to look at one line at a time, write the inequality, and then determine the shaded region. Are you guys ready? So let's start with the one on the left, if I can move my notebook around. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to look at this top line. No, I'm just telling you which one I'm looking at. All right, now it's slanted, correct? That means that we're going to have a Y and we're going to have an X. So please write down a Y and an X. You always start with the y-intercept. So where does this graph cross the y-axis? Bless you. Positive 2 or negative 2? And then we put plus 2. Does everybody see how we got that plus 2? Because at this point right here. Yes. Okay, now we need to figure out what our slope is. So remember, the slope is where it crosses the next grid point. So we would go up 1, right 1. So what's our slope? Positive 1. Do we have to write that in front of x? Nope. And is it shaded above or below? This line? That's below. So that's less than. Is it solid or dashed? So it needs a line. What are you doing? So it needs a line under it because it's solid. Does everybody see how we got that? So write it down and we'll walk through it one more time. When you're done writing, put your pencil down so I know that you're done. We about to talk about that. No. Mary, let me know when you're ready. Ready? Okay. So the first thing that we did was I highlighted this line because that's the one we're looking at. We know that it's slanted, so I wrote a Y and an X. Then I found my y-intercept. So it crosses the y-axis at this 2, so I put plus 2. The y-intercept is always the number hanging out at the end. Then we found our slope. Our slope is up 1, right 1, so that's just 1. We don't have to write that in front of x. We said that it was shaded below, so that's less than, and it's solid, so there's a line under it. You do not put this 2 with the x, because that would mean the slope is 2. The slope is 1. Does everybody understand? Those of us who are actually paying attention. Now let's look at this. Let's write a y. Let's write an x. Where does it cross the y-axis? -3. So is that going to be a +3 or -3? -3. Now, we go from here, from this point, and go to the next grid crossing. So what's our slope? Up 1, right 1. So is that a +1 or negative?
Positive.
Positive, because we're going up and to the right. Now, are we shading above or below? So is that greater than or less than? Is it a solid or dashed? That is all we do. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so try this next one without me. I want you to only do the slanted line. Do not do the dashed line. Only do the solid. You are in striking distance. Yes. I'm sorry? It's in the crate in the 13th.
Okay.
Check with your neighbor and make sure it's right. I feel like I talk to myself like 80% of the class. You're not done. You should be done. My belly? Are you saying I'm fat? Do the solid line. Come on, write the equation.
It's not a negative.
No. You can in just a minute. Want to finish this? Yes. You're just pointing to the sky? Oh, you're cripping? Okay.
Since I did my homework, I just tricked
I didn't do anything.
I didn't know you like that.
You didn't know that they accepted white females into their group now?
No, I didn't know you was saying that. I thought you was crippling.
All right, what's the y-intercept of this one? Positivo. So +1. And then what's my slope? 1, 1. So we would just have a 1 in front of it. And yes. And it's greater than or equal to. How many of us got that right? If at least 2 people at your table got it right, give your team a point.
So when it be down one, left one, like you doing the little thing, like what across that is.
No, you do from the y-axis.
Okay. Yeah, I got it right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Okay. If you get on your phone, I will take it.
She needs to take your phone.
All right, so for this one, is it passing through the X or the Y axis?
Why?
So we write Y. Okay. And where is it passing through the Y axis? At 1. Is it shaded above or below?
Below.
So that's less than, and it's a dashed line, so we leave it like that.
I
Yay!
forgot what that line was. What's that supposed to mean again?
Means equal to, so that's why we have solid lines. Now, in the top drawer of your tower, there is a binder clip stack of cow papers. Get them out. The person who is supposed to be the paper passer outer, get out the binder clip thing of cow papers. David, it's the top drawer, son. And you look for the papers that have cows. When in just a minute. Does everybody have one? Okay, now let's talk about something that I didn't think I needed to say, but apparently I do. My binder clips, y'all been taking my binder clips, and I don't know why, because it says Algebra B, and I don't know why you would want that. So those are my binder clips. So when the papers are done with the binder clips, put it back in the drawer. Does everybody understand? Stop taking my stuff. Thieves. Alright, now what you're going to do, I need mine.
You have one. Yes, you do. I gave you one. You have one.
It is in his hand, yes.
Right.
He's trying to be a pain. Okay, so we have some radioactive cows, and we're trying to fence them in. Now, we are only allowed to build 4 fences after we put up all of our lasers, okay?
Explanation I've ever heard about cows.
See, I know. Come on. Alright, so we have radioactive cows. It isn't safe anymore. Something must have gotten in the water. The cows are all crazy. It's kind of like y'all. They're getting bigger fast. They have radioactive drool, and they're getting smarter. If only that's how it works, guys. Then I would infect you all with radioactivity. We need to trap them before they escape and infect anything else. They've broken through all the regular fences, so it's time for laser fences. These create our laser fences. So what I want you and your group to do first is to graph everything. I would use different colors, and then we'll shade together at the end. Okay? Ready, set, go. Reggie McKenzie, leave your with us. I would do all of A. I would do both of these in one color. I would do both of these in one color. I would do both of these in one color. And then I would do both of these in one color. Yeah. It's going to be my downfall last period.